The Haunted Chapel. Deep within the heart of a small, picturesque town, there stood an old chapel that had cast a haunting shadow over the community for decades. The locals whispered tales of a dark past, claiming that the chapel was a place of supernatural activity. Legend had it that the spirit of a disgraced priest, tormented by his own sins, now roamed the hallowed halls, forever trapped between the mortal world and the realm of the divine. The stories circulated amongst the townsfolk, recounting the priest's vile acts committed within the sacred walls of the chapel. The divine wrath had been invoked, leading to his disgrace and eventual demise. Visitors reported eerie encounters within the chapel, including hearing faint whispers echoing through the air and feeling an inexplicable chill creeping up their spines. One moonlit night, a group of intrepid paranormal investigators, fueled by curiosity and a desire to uncover the truth, decided to spend the entire night within the chapel's unsettling confines. Armed with an arsenal of cameras, voice recorders, and electromagnetic field detectors, they ventured into the dark unknown. As the investigators settled in, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive, as if an invisible force were tightening its grip around their throats. Shadows danced in the dim candlelight, and an unsettling silence seemed to consume the air. The investigators pressed forward, their hearts pounding in anticipation. The night progressed, and the investigators captured chilling evidence of the chapel's paranormal activity. Whispers, barely audible to the human ear, were captured on audio recordings. The lights flickered intermittently, as if responding to the presence of otherworldly entities. Some investigators claimed to have glimpsed shadowy figures lurking in the pews, their presence fleeting yet undeniable. The weight of the chapel's dark history and the intensity of the paranormal encounters proved too much for the investigators. Overwhelmed with fear and the unmistakable sense of being watched, they hastily retreated, vowing never to return. Convinced that the chapel was indeed cursed by a malevolent force, they shared their findings with the world, solidifying the chapel's status as a true bastion of horror. The Whispering Parish. In the heart of a small town, nestled amidst rolling hills and dense forests, stood an ancient church known as St. Agnes Parish. With its towering steeple and weathered stone facade, the church had been a beacon of faith for generations. However, beneath its seemingly serene exterior, a dark secret lurked, waiting to be unearthed. The townsfolk spoke in hushed whispers about the church's troubled past. Legend had it that a malevolent spirit had taken hold of the parish, infusing it with an eerie energy that chilled the very soul. The presence was said to manifest as haunting whispers that echoed through the halls, luring unsuspecting visitors deeper into its clutches. Sarah, a curious and adventurous young woman, had always been drawn to the mysteries of the supernatural. Intrigued by the tales surrounding St. Agnes Parish, she decided to embark on a daring exploration of the church, armed with a flashlight and a recording device to capture any unearthly encounters. As Sarah stepped through the aged oak doors, a shiver crept down her spine, as if the church itself welcomed her into its malevolent embrace. The air grew heavy, and an unsettling silence engulfed her. Undeterred, she ventured deeper, guided by a mixture of trepidation and excitement. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows across the pews, and Sarah could almost hear the echoes of long-forgotten hymns reverberating through the emptiness. It was then that she heard it, a soft, seductive whisper that seemed to originate from the very walls of the church. "Come closer," the voice beckoned, its tone both enticing and terrifying. Driven by a morbid curiosity, Sarah followed the voice, her footsteps echoing through the cavernous space. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with an indescribable dread. Shadows danced along the walls, their movements mirroring the chaotic symphony of whispered voices that surrounded her. As Sarah reached the altar, she found herself standing before an ornate, ancient Bible, its pages weathered and worn. Temptation overwhelmed her, and against her better judgment, she reached out and opened the sacred tome, releasing a surge of energy that filled the church with an otherworldly presence. The whispers intensified, morphing into anguished cries and malevolent laughter. The very foundations of the church seemed to tremble, as if the spirits trapped within its walls had been awakened by Sarah's actions. A profound sense of regret. The unholy chant. In a remote village shrouded by mist-laden forests, there stood an old, dilapidated church named St. Bartholomew Cess. The villagers had long whispered tales of the church's ominous history, its stained glass windows casting eerie reflections upon the worn pews. But it was the haunting chant that echoed through the night that sent a chill down the spine of anyone who dared to venture near. Legend told of a group of fanatical monks who had once inhabited the church, devoted to a forbidden sect of worship. They delved into the darkest depths of ancient rituals, invoking deities long forgotten and uttering incantations that defied the natural order. Their rituals were said to have awoken an ancient malevolent force that now claimed the church as its domain. Curiosity, or perhaps foolhardiness, compelled Mark, a skeptical historian fascinated by local folklore, to investigate the truth behind the legends. Armed with a notebook and a tape recorder, he set foot inside the desolate church, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The moment Mark crossed the threshold, the temperature plummeted, leaving a frosty mist suspended in the air. Moonlight filtered through the stained glass windows, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance to the rhythm of an unseen presence. The faint sound of a chant reverberated, growing louder with each step Mark took deeper into the church. As he entered the dimly lit chamber, an oppressive aura enveloped him. Shadows writhed upon the walls, and a chorus of whispered voices filled the silence, their ethereal words tugging at the fringes of Mark's sanity. The chant intensified, an unholy symphony that resonated through his bones. Determined to uncover the truth, Mark followed the haunting chant to a hidden chamber beneath the altar. There, he discovered a long-forgotten ritual room, adorned with sinister symbols and ancient texts. The air grew heavy with malevolence as he deciphered the cryptic writings, unknowingly awakening the dormant entity that lurked within. The chant swelled into a crescendo, filling the chamber with an overwhelming cacophony. Shadows materialized, contorting into grotesque figures that lunged at Mark, their claws and fangs hungry for his flesh. Panic gripped him as he fought for his life, desperately seeking an escape from the clutches of the unholy presence. With every ounce of strength he could muster, Mark broke free from the grip of the malevolent entities. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe, and never forget the dark.